Welcome to Soul Care. This is where we care for our souls for Nurses Week. We're going to be exploring today about prana, chi, and vitalism. And really, the foundation for healing is not just in self care, but in healing our life force, our energy, our spirit. My name is Dr. Vanessa Ruiz. I'm a naturopathic doctor and a holistic nurse specializing in mental health. I have my own private practice. It is drvanessaruiz.com, and I'm also the founder of Nurses for Natural Health. So if you're a nurse and you're looking to learn more about natural medicine, this is the place for you to learn and educate yourself in many continuing education programs. This is a place where you will be encouraged to use natural medicine and empowered to use it in not only your personal life, but also your professional practice. So over the next 7 days, I'm going to be providing you with information about soul care. I'm going to be leading transformative exercises that help to address our soul, our energy body. However, it is also educational. So everything that I'm teaching you is really meant to educate you. It's not meant to diagnose, treat, or replace any medical treatment. So let's get started. And the question that I invite you to reflect upon is, how do we heal? And really, what are your belief systems around self-healing? What are the elements that are required for healing to occur? And what does healing mean to you, other than in the context of treating or curing diseases? Once a diagnosis occurs or illness develops, how do you recover your health? Is healing holistic? And if so, how do the mind, the emotions, how do these play into our healing? How do they also play into the development of illness? And it's likely that the answers to these questions are going to shape how you care for yourself and maintain your health, and also your approach with patients. And the answers show up in your everyday decision-making process about health, about rest, about balance, about burnout and recovery. So understanding your belief system is going to be central in how you experience your own healing. So when we explore soul care, there's an assumption that's being made here that there's a spirit to tend to. And we're not just tending to the physical body, which often is what occurs when we talk about self-care, but we're talking about soul care, the energy, the spiritual layers. And we're acknowledging that there's a life force inside of us that is real, present, and also essential to the healing process. Unfortunately, soul care isn't something that we talk about. In fact, there may be intentional attempts really to separate the mind body, spirit. And over the next 7 days, we're going to explore and engage with a subtle energy system through breath work, meditation, some movement, sound. Across ancient cultures, what you'll see is that many of them have integrated this subtle life force under their medical systems. In traditional Chinese medicine, in Eastern medicine, we know of this as qi. It's a vital energy that flows through all the meridians of the body, bringing balance and harmony to the elements. And in their traditional system, they talk about the spirit, and the spirit lives in the heart, it resides in the heart. In the ancient yogic traditions, this force is called prana. It is taken in by the breath, and it sustains all of us traveling through these pathways called the nadis and chakras, and they influence our mental, emotional, and physical health. Now, even in Western medicine, especially in the naturopathic and early medical philosophies, we have a concept called vitalism. And the subtle force, we call that as the vis medicatrix naturae. It's the idea that there's a life force that organizes and is part of the innate healing capacity. We also call this term anima, animus, which is derived from Carl Jung. Also, there's probably earlier philosophers who use that term, but essentially it's the observation of the masculine feminine energies, also known as the yin and yang. So, in observing all these ancient healing systems, we see that there is interplay of the subtle force. The closest thing to the yin and yang we have in conventional system is really sympathetic for the yang and parasympathetic for the yin. So in ancient yogic texts from we see the Upanishads, we have 72,000 nadis in the body, of which the central pathway, the Sushumna, is the chief. And it starts out from the Muladhara, the base of our spine, going all the way up to the crown. And in energetic philosophies, like Reiki, for example, in Ayurveda, we talk about the chakras. And we talk about how the nadis, the Ida and the Pingala, the yin and the yang, essentially traverse through the chakras. There are 7 chakras. And I'll go more in depth when we do the exercise for tomorrow. But essentially, these chakras are energetic bodies that also have functions, and they are interwoven with our endocrine and our nervous system. From the traditional Chinese medicine, we see talk about these meridians. So the Yellow Emperor's Inner Classic was written thousands of years ago, and it speaks about the meridians that move qi and blood, nourish the yin and yang, moistening the tendons and bones, and benefiting the joints. When we talk about vitalism in Western philosophies, so Hippocrates, the father of medicine, essentially stated that there is this vital force that organizes and heals, and that we have this innate healing capacity. And that this vital force is relational, meaning that it is in communication and dynamically responding to our environment, in which the organism is constantly seeking harmony. We also understand that term to be quote unquote homeostasis. And there's also an interconnectedness where we weave in that mind, body, spirit connection. So therefore, in vitalism, our goal isn't to suppress that healing vital force. For example, if I have gastric reflux, it isn't to take an antacid, which is suppressing the acid. It's to remove the obstacles that could be creating that environment for acidity to occur, to change the nutrition, to perhaps maybe the obstacle to cure is my emotions. So we try to limit or avoid symptom driven treatment because we understand that the symptoms we're seeing are actually the communication of our body, of the energy to what is manifesting. It is letting us know that there's something that is out of balance. So, our role as nurses and healers, when we talk about energy and integrate that into our practice, is that we are there to support the innate healing capacity of the person. That person has the ability to heal themselves, given we support their vital force, their prana, their chi, and that we remove the obstacles to their cure. And we raise awareness, we raise their consciousness, and we bring their attention into their own energy. We help them make that connection between their mind, body, spirit, emotions, and their physicality. So, in this form of healing, it's less transactional. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to suppress something. Rather, we as healers engage dynamically with their vital force, honoring their adaptations, supporting their healing process. So I invite you then, do I believe in innate healing force within myself and others? How does that belief affect the way I approach my own healing, my own recovery, my burnout, or fatigue? Am I in relationship with my own vital energy? Or have I ignored its signals, its messages? What are also some of the obstacles to my own healing? When we remember that healing is holistic, it is not just physical, it is not just self care, it is energetic, it is soul care, and we can begin to care for ourselves and others in a more whole way with a reverence for their energy, for our own energy, and reverence for those forces that help you to sustain your life and your healing.